Hello and welcome to a brand new tutorial. This tutorial is related to May the 4th. May the 4th is, you all know, the Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And it's also the 1 year anniversary of the release of Lightwave 2023 under the new hat of Lightwave Digital. So a couple of Lightwave 3D artists come together and we want to show you, presenting you some tutorials in Lightwave related to the Star Wars universe. My part was to creating this typical intro shot that every Star Wars movie starts. The title and the story runs into the galaxy and the camera left behind and show the stars, and then the camera tilts down and a planet rises. That was a cool one. Hope you liked it as I do. And in this tutorial, I'll show you a walkthrough to the Lightwave 3D file. And then I also show you a little bit of color grading, how I did that in DaVinci and rendered out everything into this shot. All right, so here we are in Lightwave. And as you can see, here is the scene open and the camera is already animated. And I want to show you how I created the materials for the planet. So the first thing is, as you can see in the scene editor, I have my geo and I have 3 spheres. For a basic planet setup, you need 3 spheres. A planet sphere, an atmosphere sphere, sounds funny, and a cloud sphere. And these 3 spheres has different sizes. Okay, so the planet sphere is probably the smallest one, then the cloud sphere, a bit bigger, and then the atmosphere, the biggest one, because it covers the entire planet. All right, so and as you can see, the planet looks just gorgeous. Okay, so let's go into the surface editor. And as you can see, I have Atmo material, cloud material, and planet. So let's jump right into the planet. And you can see this is the node tree. I used a texture of a planet surface. I downloaded on a web page, which is really cool. I show you that now. And the web page is solarsystemscope.com. Check this site out and also check all the different sites. They did a very good job on this homepage to show us the solar system. And they also used all these textures that you can download for free and use it in your 3D projects by just going to Explore, Textures, and you can see here are free textures that you can use for your 3D renderings. And here you can see textures that goes until 8K from actual planet and moons in our solar system. You also have textures for the Earth in 8K resolution, really big. The daytime, nighttime, the cloud, and the specular maps, and even the normal map, which is super, super cool. And everything is 8K. And the last section is a fictional. There are fictional planet surface. And I downloaded this make planet surface. Unfortunately, this is just 4K. It would be great to have that in 8K as well, but now it's 4K and I used the 4K version. So check this site out, solarsystemscope.com. I will place the link below in the description as well. All right, so back in Lightwave, and as you can see, I have this texture. I downloaded it on the webpage I showed you before, and I plugged it into the color slot. I also have downloaded the Earth texture, and if I plug that in, and I plug in the normal map in, you can see that we have the Earth planet, which is looking really, really good. And it works as well in this shot. Just replaced the texture and we have a total different look. But we are in the Star Wars universe, so let's plug in the fictional planet surface, plug in this in, and we are ready to go. So this is the planet surface. So let's jump right into the cloud surface. And as you can see here, I have just downloaded this cloud map and I rotated a bit around just to show clouds, but the position of the clouds are not exactly like on Earth, so just a bit random. So this is a simple one. So let's jump right into the atmosphere. The atmosphere is a bit special. I used a color node so I can change the color of the atmosphere itself. And it's plugged in into a mixer. And the mixer is set to multiply. And it's driven by a Fresnel shader. So I used the inverse output to drive the transparency, and it gives me exactly this result. And here I can change the size of the atmosphere. Okay, so I can make a really thin atmosphere like that, or I can increase this a bit more to have this effect, this really nice fall off here, which I like. So that's basically it. That's the three materials. As you can see, it's really simple. I want to save out the sequence as a Rec 709 color profile. I will also go into the edit color space, and in the color space management, I changed the display color to Rec 709 and the default final render to Rec 709. Then when I render out this sequence in the render properties, you can see that I choose the Rec 709 color space. Why I use this Rec 709 color space? Because I can use the Rec 709 color space better in DaVinci Resolve. You will see that in a moment. DaVinci Resolve is a very big and complex software. DaVinci Resolve alone deserves a whole tutorial series. I will not go too deep into DaVinci Resolve. I just want to scratch the surface to show you just how I did the color grading for this specific shot. All right, so the output that I imported into my media pool is the image sequence rendered out from Lightwave in the color space Rec 709. As you can see here, it's already looking good and there is no special highlights or clamping or something like that. So this shot already looks really, really good. And you can color grade right away in the Rec 709 color space. It's totally fine. But I want to show you just one little thing. And I press Alt S. It's creating a new serial node. So every changes that I do on this node are stored in this node, and the previous node will not be affected, right? So when I start on this node now to grade and I increase the offset, on the halfway through, see here the scopes, you can see that it starts clipping. Okay, so the white parts start to burning out. And we are on the halfway of the scope, right? So how we can avoid this fast clipping? The solution will be to go on a bigger color space. And I show you how to set that up. So let's go here, right click, reset the node, and we are back in business. So go down here, you see this cogwheel, or you can also click on File, Projects, Settings. And in the color management, it's set to the color science is set to DaVinci YRGB. This means that we have no automatic color management. So the color management is basically off now. Our footage, however, because it's already Rec 709, it looks pretty good on this display. But we want to work on a bigger color space. So in this case, we change the timeline color space to DaVinci White Gamut Intermediate, and the output color space is Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. And then press save to get the effect. So you can see that nothing has changed. That's because we are still in the Rec 709 color space. Okay, so what we have to do now to have access to the bigger color space, we have to go into the Effects tab, Library, and you can see here you have the color space transform. Click on this and drag it on the first node. And as you can see, this FX icon shows up. So that means that we have an effects applied on that node. So now we have to set that up. So our input color space, we know that this is 709, Rec 709. And the gamma input is Rec 709 as well. We want to go from Rec 709 to DaVinci White Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. You can see now that it changes everything. It looks wrong now. So what we have to do to see on the screen the right color space again, we have to set the opposite. And that is what we do on this second node here. So we choose again the color space transform, click on that. And now we go from DaVinci White Gamut, DaVinci Intermediate to Rec 709. And this time the output gamma will be Rec 709, Gamma 2.4. And now as you can see, it looks correct again, because my display now shows again the Rec 709 color space. And it looks good. Now, in between these two nodes, right, is the DaVinci White Gamut color space, which is a huge color space. And in here, we will do all our gradings. Okay. So create Alt S, a new serial node, and I start to grade. Okay, so first of all, I will balancing out a bit these scopes. So I want to go into the gain, bring down the blue, and lift up the green a bit. Maybe the red. Lift up the red just a touch right there. Just bring the blue down a bit more. You can see I make some subtle changes, not too much, just a little bit, and that looks pretty good to me. I create another serial node, press Alt S, create another node, and here I want to change the saturation just quite a bit. Maybe play around with the temperature right there. And this looks quite nice. So you can see here is the before, and here is the graded one, right? You can see that it changes a bit and creates more realistic look to this planet. Okay. All right, and as you can see, I start to adding serial nodes and move on with the grading to the final grading shot. Okay, so that is the workflow I do in DaVinci. And then here in the audio, in the Fairlight, the audio software inside DaVinci, which is really powerful, I added some sound files that I have. And then on the delivery page, I choose custom export MP4. The codec is H.264, and I choose 30 frames per second. I use the high quality, hit the render button, and we are done. So thank you very much. That's the end of the tutorial. I hope it was helpful. It was enjoyable to watch. And thank you very much for listening. Thanks for watching. And as always, if you have any questions or you want to just place a comment, it's really appreciated. Please use the comment function. And if you like my content, hit the subscribe button. It is really appreciated. So enjoy the May the 4th. Watch the tutorials, watch the other tutorials from the other Lightwave artists, and then maybe you make a Star Wars movie marathon. Enjoy the day and see you next time in another tutorial very soon. Bye everybody.